Cowboys Nation, what's up? It's time to lock in because this Sunday, the Dallas Cowboys are hitting the road for a huge showdown against the Denver Broncos. And trust me, this one's got all the ingredients of a classic NFL battle. Elite defenses, explosive offenses, injuries that could swing the game, and just enough drama to keep every fan on the edge of their seat. Now, before we even start breaking down the matchups, can we talk about how unpredictable this season has been? The Cowboys have been firing on all cylinders offensively, but they're running straight into a Denver squad that's been hanging its hat on defense all year long. You look at the Broncos' numbers, top 5 in just about every defensive category, and you realize this isn't going to be one of those games where Dallas just marches up and down the field with ease. What makes this matchup so fascinating is how perfectly these two teams contrast each other. On one side, you've got the Cowboys, one of the most dynamic offenses in the league, with Dak Prescott playing at an absolutely elite level lately. He's been precise, confident, and clutch. On the other side, the Broncos have been all about discipline, pressure, and forcing mistakes. They're built to frustrate quarterbacks, to make every throw feel like it's coming half a second too late. And that's what makes this test so big for Dak. He's faced good defenses this year, sure, but this Denver front seven, might be his toughest challenge yet. They're aggressive, they disguise their looks well, and they can get after the quarterback without needing to send the house. Now, the Cowboys come into this one as slight favorites on the road, but let's be honest, that margin is razor thin for a reason. Playing in Denver is no joke. The altitude, the noise, that defense. It's the perfect storm for an upset if you're not locked in from the first snap. And even though Dallas has looked like one of the NFC's most complete teams when everything's clicking, this is one of those games that'll test not just talent, but composure. The Cowboys have to show they can grind out a win against a team that loves to drag opponents into ugly, low-scoring battles. Speaking of challenges, the Cowboys' injury list could play a big role here. Trayvon Diggs is still working through concussion protocol, and his status is a huge question mark. You take him out of the equation, and suddenly the secondary looks a lot more vulnerable against a quarterback like Bo Nix, who's still learning the ropes but can make plays when given time. Dak's hand was swollen after last week's game, though reports suggest it's nothing serious. Still, you can bet the Broncos' defense will be testing that early, trying to get hits on him and see how comfortable he really is in the pocket. Then you've got guys like Cooper Beebe and Marshawn Elland who've been battling their own setbacks. Health might be the quiet X factor in this matchup. Denver, meanwhile, comes in mostly healthy, which is huge for them. The only notable absence is linebacker Dre Greenlaw, who's suspended after losing his cool last week. That's a break for the Cowboys' offensive line, which will already have its hands full with Denver's terrifying pass rush. The Broncos lead the entire league in quarterback pressure rate, nearly half of all passing snaps, in with their defense hounding the quarterback. That's absurd. They're also at the top in sack percentage, meaning when they get close, they usually finish the job. Guys like Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper have been absolute nightmares for opposing tackles. These aren't household names yet, but they're playing like pro bowlers right now. So if you're the Cowboys, keeping Dak Prescott upright has to be priority number one. The offensive line's actually been solid so far this year, one of the best in the league in limiting pressures and sacks. But this isn't the week to take your foot off the gas. Denver thrives on collapsing pockets and forcing quick throws, and that's where Dallas play calling will matter most. You've got to mix in quick passes, screens, and rollouts to keep the Broncos' edge rushers honest. The longer Dak holds the ball, the more dangerous it gets. And that's what makes this such a chess match. Denver's defense doesn't give you freebies. They don't allow easy completions. Every yard feels earned. Their secondary closes gaps fast, and their linebackers read plays better than almost anyone right now. For the Cowboys' offense, this is going to be about patience. Don't chase the big plays early, because Denver's defense feasts on greedy quarterbacks. You take what they give you, you move the chains, you wear them down. That's how you beat a defense like this. Now let's talk about the other side of the ball. The Cowboys' defense finally showed signs of life last week, but they're still far from consistent. And this week, they get a Denver offense that, well, hasn't exactly been lighting up scoreboards either. Bo Nix has had flashes of brilliance, but he's also looked hesitant at times, especially when defenses drop in his zone coverage. That's where Dallas has an opportunity. If Dan Quinn can mix up his coverages, a blend of zone disguises with just enough man-to-man to confuse Nix, the Cowboys could force him into some tough throws. Nix is mobile. He can extend plays, but when the rhythm breaks down, that's when the mistakes come. Sean Payton, as always, has this offense schemed to protect his young quarterback. Lots of quick passes, design movement, and a heavy dose of screens. But it also makes Denver's offense a little predictable. They don't attack the middle of the field much, and they struggle to sustain drives when the big plays aren't there. For Dallas, that means it's time to clamp down on the deep shots and force Nix to dink and dunk his way down the field. That's not his strength. And let's not overlook what could be one of the most emotional storylines heading into Sunday, the Javonte Williams revenge game. Denver moved on from him, and all he's done since then is turn into one of the league's most efficient running backs. He's averaging more than 5 yards per carry and has already hit career highs across the board. His power, his vision, his patience. He's been a spark this Cowboys backfield needed. You know he's got this game circled on his calendar, ready to prove a point against his old team. And he'll have to, because Denver's run defense is no joke either. They're one of the best units in the league at limiting explosive runs. Hardly anyone breaks big gains against them. That means the Cowboys have to be creative in the run game. Misdirection, counters, maybe even some design quarterback runs if Dak's feeling good. The key is balance. If Dallas can keep the Broncos guessing, make them respect both the pass and the run, they can open things up later in the game for guys like CeeDee Lamb to make those big plays downfield. There's also some history hanging over this matchup. Believe it or not, the Broncos have beaten the Cowboys 7 straight times. 7. The last Dallas win against Denver came all the way back in 1995. That's not just a drought, that's a curse. And if you want to go even deeper, the Cowboys haven't won in Denver since 1992. That's over 3 decades. This team has a real chance to snap that streak and finally get one back against a franchise that's quietly had their number for way too long. So when you stack it all up, the matchups, the injuries, the history, and the stakes, you get the kind of game that tells you a lot about who these Cowboys really are. Are they the team that can go toe-to-toe with anyone, even the toughest defenses, and come out on top? Or are they still the squad that lets opportunities like this slip away on the road? Because this one isn't just about the standings, it's about identity. It's about proving that this year's Cowboys are built differently. When you think about what the Cowboys need to do to finally get over the hump and take down the Broncos, it starts with their quarterback. Dak Prescott has been playing some of the most confident football of his career over the last few weeks. His timing is sharper, his reads are cleaner, and you can see he's completely in control of this offense. But this week is where that gets tested. Denver's defense thrives on confusing quarterbacks. They show blitz and drop back. They line up with 4 rushers and send 5, and they disguise coverage as well as anyone in football. Dak's ability to recognize those looks pre-snap and make adjustments at the line could be the difference between a smooth offensive drive and a 3-and-out. This is also the kind of matchup that challenges the Cowboys' offensive rhythm. They've been explosive at times this season, but they can't afford to rely solely on big plays. Against Denver, methodical execution will matter more than flash. The Broncos don't give you much room to breathe, and every mistake feels amplified. So if Dallas wants to walk out a mile high with a win, they've got to stay disciplined. That means avoiding unnecessary penalties, converting on 3rd down, and protecting the football. Denver's defense feeds off turnovers, and once they get momentum, it's hard to slow them down. For Dak, this is also about leadership. His teammates follow his energy. If he stays calm under pressure, the entire offense settles in behind him. And he's going to need that poise because there will be moments where Denver's front 7 gets home, where the pocket collapses, and where everything feels chaotic. That's where elite quarterbacks separate themselves. Not when it's easy, but when it's uncomfortable. Prescott has been on a mission this season to silence the noise, and this game gives him a perfect platform to do exactly that. On the defensive side, the Cowboys need to bring the same intensity they showed last week against Washington, but sustain it for 4 full quarters. They can't afford the slow starts that have haunted them earlier in the year. Denver's offense isn't built to explode for 40 points, but they're patient. Sean Payton is the kind of coach who will take 5-yard gains all day long if you let him. That's why the Cowboys' defensive line has to win early downs. If they can get Denver into 2nd and long or 3rd and long situations, they'll force Bo Nix into uncomfortable throws. And that's when the turnovers come. Bo Nix, for all his promise, still struggles when he has to read through multiple progressions. When defenses drop extra defenders into coverage and disguise their intentions, his decision-making slows down. That's where Micah Parsons and the Cowboys' pass rush can feast. You don't even have to sack Nix on every play. Just make him feel the heat. Force him to throw off balance. Make him move off his spot. And sooner or later, the mistakes start piling up. If Trayvon Diggs isn't clear to play, the rest of the secondary has to step up in a big way. Darren Bland has been a bright spot this season, but this game is where depth gets tested. The Broncos love to take deep shots to their speedy receivers, and if Dallas can't stay disciplined with safety help, those plays can flip the game. Denver doesn't take a ton of risks, but when they do, they make it count. The Cowboys' corners have to stay physical, and the safeties need to communicate clearly. One busted coverage, and it's 6 points the other way. Something that can't be overlooked is the altitude factor in Denver. Players talk about it all the time. It hits you differently in the second half. Conditioning becomes critical, especially for defensive linemen chasing down Nix on scrambles and for wide receivers running deep routes. The Cowboys have to manage their rotations smartly. Keep legs fresh, substitute often, and don't get caught gassed in the fourth quarter. Denver's home field advantage isn't just the crowd. It's that thin air that wears opponents down when it matters most. Then there's the mental side of it. This game carries history. The Broncos' 7-game winning streak over the Cowboys isn't just a stat. It's a cloud that hangs over every Dallas fan who remembers those past losses. For players, that kind of streak can become motivation. It's the kind of thing coaches bring up in team meetings to remind everyone that it's time to rewrite the narrative. And make no mistake, this version of the Cowboys has the talent to do it. They've got the quarterback, the weapons, and the defensive playmakers. The question is whether they have the composure to finish. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a move that has left the sports world buzzing, the Dallas Cowboys have reportedly made a stunning announcement that could shake the foundations of the NFL. Sources close to the team suggest that the Cowboys have set their sights south of the border, allegedly securing the services of Mexican standout Isaac Alarcón. While the franchise has yet to provide a full press release, whispers around training facilities and social media circles indicate that negotiations have been moving rapidly behind the scenes. Alarcón, whose name has been increasingly mentioned in international football circles, is being hailed as one of Mexico's brightest talents. Known for his athletic versatility and raw power on the field, the young star has drawn comparisons to some of the NFL's most elite linemen. Fans in Dallas, as well as those in Mexico, are reportedly in a frenzy, speculating about what his presence could mean for the Cowboys' offensive line and the league at large. Though the team remains tight-lipped, insiders suggest that Alarcón could be part of a larger strategy aimed at expanding the Cowboys' brand into Latin America. The move, if confirmed, would mark one of the most high-profile cross-border acquisitions in recent NFL history, fueling speculation that other franchises might soon follow suit. Sports analysts are already debating how Alarcón's style and experience might translate to the NFL, with some arguing he could become a game-changer, while others urge caution, citing the challenges of adapting to America's top football league. Meanwhile, Mexican media have been ablaze with excitement, reporting that Alarcón has long dreamed of making it to the NFL. Rumors suggest he has been quietly training for this moment, honing his skills to meet the rigorous standards of professional football in the United States. If the Cowboys' move is indeed finalized, it could signal a new era of international talent entering the league, potentially opening doors for athletes from regions historically overlooked by NFL scouts. Whether this is the beginning of a bold new strategy by the Cowboys or just another swirling rumor in the high-stakes world of professional sports, one thing is clear. Alarcon has captured the imagination of fans on both sides of the border, and the NFL may never look the same again. As the speculation continues to mount, all eyes are on Dallas, waiting to see if the rumor transforms into reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.